What if I told you that time itself, that familiar, relentless march of seconds into minutes and hours, is not some immutable constant, but rather the most delicate vibration of the universe? A vibration whose harmonious rhythm can be disrupted, distorted, and even, if you can imagine, poisoned? And what if humanity's greatest secret, the most piercing and soul-chilling truth, lies hidden not in the gloom of ancient tombs or at the silty bottom of a fathomless ocean, but in the rust-colored, lifeless dust of a dead planet we once so desperately reached for, believing it to be our salvation? What you are about to hear is no mere hypothesis. It is a desperate cry from the very depths of the abyss, a warning that could forever shatter your perception of reality, the cosmos, and the very essence of our existence. Before we lift this shocking veil together, take a deep, slow breath. Trust me, you are not here by chance. If these words stir something deep within your soul, if you feel them resonating with something long forgotten, then you are already on the right path. And now, let us turn our gaze to Mars, to that eternal red planet. This cold, alluring beacon, burning in the velvet of the night sky, has long been a symbol of our most audacious ambitions. We are led to believe that this is our next great frontier, our future second home. From our screens, we are shown glossy, meticulously crafted images of colonies flourishing beneath domes, of azure lakes lapping against the red sands. And they even promise to gift the planet a new, almost Earth-like atmosphere. But all of this is merely an elaborate facade. It is a grand, monstrous lie, designed to conceal a catastrophe of truly universal scale. Just a few weeks ago, an archive began to circulate in the darkest, most encrypted corners of the web, a file that was never meant to see the light of day. Before me lay an information packet, encrypted with a single word: Cassandra. It contained classified reports, telemetry streams, and most crucially, the personal journal of one of NASA's leading minds. A scientist directly involved in a top-secret Mars terraforming project, codenamed Demeter. You will find no mention of it in the official archives. It is as if this project never existed, yet its unseen consequences are felt by all of us, every single day. The ambitions of Project Demeter reached far beyond the ordinary, melting the polar ice caps, saturating the dead atmosphere with life-giving oxygen. These were merely the first, almost childlike steps on a path toward the incredible. The project's true purpose, an almost esoteric one, was far more audacious and perilous. They intended to ignite the very spark of life on the barren plains of Mars. But this wasn't a matter of primitive biology. It was something metaphysical. To achieve this, they employed sophisticated quantum generators and resonance fields. Their operation was founded on nearly mythical, long-lost technologies, the kind that hushed whispers linked to the legacy of the fabled Atlantis. With this incredible arsenal of tools, the Demeter team was attempting the impossible: to artificially forge a noosphere for an entire world, to create a consciousness, a soul. Their grand objective was not merely to settle Mars. They aspired to resurrect it, and they almost succeeded. Almost. According to the fragmented data that has since surfaced, at the climax of their monumental experiment, as colossal torrents of energy were channeled into the planet's very core, something inexplicable transpired. Something that defied all human comprehension. Instead of sparking life, they awakened. Its frozen absence, its yawning shadow. The journal of one scientist describes the event as an acoustic void, a silence that didn't just oppress, but utterly consumed sound itself. He called it the negative echo of creation. They had not created a soul. They had forged its precise, terrifying opposite, a bottomless, all-consuming spiritual void. Mars was not brought to life. It became the living embodiment of death, a conscious, thinking emptiness, its icy gaze now fixed directly upon us. Our experiment did not simply end in catastrophe. It was unleashed, prying open the very Pandora's box that prophets had whispered of in fear for millennia. You would call this madness, a work of fiction. But listen closely. Did the greatest mystics of the past not foretell this very thing? Recall the blind seer, Baba Vanga, whose cryptic visions came to pass with a frightening, almost mathematical precision. She spoke of a time when red dust would cover the eyes of the living, and the cold breath of a dead star would compel brother to turn against brother. This was not a reference to physical dust settling upon the eyelashes. No. She was speaking of a spiritual influence, of the soul-chilling cold of a lifeless void that would one day reach Earth itself. And what of Nostradamus? In one of his most obscure and enigmatic quatrains, he wrote, "When iron messengers awaken the red giant, its silent wrath will poison the water and the mind." Consider this, iron messengers. Who else could they be, if not our very own Mars rovers? Was it not our own research probes, piercing so arrogantly into alien flesh? The being we awoke was no giant of flesh and blood, but a colossus woven from the void itself. But the omens of this catastrophe echoed long before our time. Deep in the Middle Ages, an anonymous chronicler, known to history as the Monk of Thule, foretold in his works the dawn of the age of the broken mirror. For centuries, the Vatican hid these texts from prying eyes, keeping them under lock and key. In these lines, he wrote, "Man, blinded by his arrogance, will attempt to create another in his own image from lifeless clay, but will instead forge it in the heavens. The reflection gazing back at him will be without a face, and this faceless visage will become a plague upon all human souls on earth." Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, in India, astrologers who for decades have studied the most ancient Vedic texts have been sounding the alarm. They speak of an unprecedented dimming in the energy field of Mars, or Mangala, as it is known in Sanskrit. They claim the planet, for ages considered the very embodiment of fierce energy, indomitable will, and action itself, has abruptly altered its fundamental nature. Now she radiates only the cold frequencies of apathy, of hollow exhaustion, and bottomless despair. But what of our contemporaries? Those insiders from scientific and military circles, bound by non-disclosure agreements and unable to speak openly. In the silence of their offices, behind tightly closed doors, they exchange terrified whispers about a so-called interplanetary psycho-resonance. They speak of frightening anomalies in the behavior of our planet's magnetosphere. And the most disturbing part, these anomalies align with startling precision to the alleged dates of the secret Demeter project's total failure. Those at the top know everything. They know, yet they remain silent, shackled by their fear of the truth. And now I ask you, look around. Truly open your eyes. Tune out the constant noise, the relentless chatter from your screens, and simply feel the pulse of this world. Can you not see it? Ancient prophecies are coming to life before our very eyes, taking on flesh and blood in the news headlines. It is this horrifying, indisputable link to reality that truly chills the soul. Just look upon our home, our planet. Inexplicable, violent cataclysms now shake it to its very core. A merciless heat scorches the land into a cracked crust, only to be followed by torrents of murky water, apocalyptic floods that wash cities away, Entire continents are plunged into an acrid, suffocating smog, choking on the smoke from boundless fires that have stained the sky crimson. We are told about the carbon footprint. Scientists build their graphs and show their presentations. But all of this is merely a convenient explanation, a smokescreen hiding the true sickness. Our Earth is sick. It is in agony. And the cause of this agony is that its ancient, life-giving, energetic bond with a sister planet has been broken. Twisted, corrupted, our planet is in agony. It shudders, its entire being sensing what one insider dared to call the Crimson Echo. If you doubt it, simply look to the heavens. You will see increasing reports of ghostly threads of silvery clouds, hanging frozen in the summer twilight. You will notice unsettling auroras, dancing in latitudes where they have never been seen before, and mysterious, pulsating glows high in the atmosphere. Believe me, this is no trick of the weather, no simple meteorology. These are scars. They are the visible symptoms of how the very fabric of our world is reacting to a toxic influence, to an alien, dead frequency, slowly seeping toward us from the bottomless darkness of space. Recall the recent solar eclipses and parades of planets, which scientists rush to dismiss as merely beautiful coincidences. In truth, those were moments of profound vulnerability. Moments when the thinnest veil separating our reality from something other grew as fragile as a spider's web. And it was then that the floodgates for this dark influence were flung wide open. But all of this is merely a backdrop. The real story isn't unfolding out there, but down here. Look around you, at the people, and then look deep within yourself. Can you honestly say you haven't felt it? That baseless anxiety, that cold, clammy sensation at the nape of your neck, as though reality itself has begun to fracture. Can you feel it? This pervasive, crushing sense of exhaustion, this emotional burnout and profound apathy that has enveloped our world like an invisible, chilling fog. Everywhere we see a sharp rise in depressive disorders, panic attacks striking at the most unexpected moments, and a groundless, soul-chilling anxiety. We have grown accustomed to blaming social media, the frantic pace of life, the endless race for success. But what if all these things are merely catalysts, simple accelerators for a process already in motion? What if the true cause is an invisible spiritual plague, seeping slowly, drop by drop, into our collective unconscious from the distant, poisoned plains of Mars? This wave of senseless, bitter conflicts, this growing polarization that builds walls between the closest of people, this profound deafness and inability to truly hear one another. This is the very cold breath of a dead star, spoken of long ago by the prophetess Vanga. It is the poisoned mind from a cryptic quatrain of Nostradamus. Look within yourselves. Have you not felt it too? That oppressive feeling, as if the very color is being slowly drained from the world, day by day. As if joy itself is becoming an increasingly rare, almost precious resource. Have you noticed these subtle signs in your own life, in the actions of your loved ones, in their vacant stares and their faded laughter? It is vital that we grasp the true scale of this phenomenon, and we can only hope to comprehend it together. And it is here that we come to the very heart of the mystery, to its darkest and deepest layer. Until now, you have likely imagined a physical catastrophe, a failed experiment, a sudden flash of fire, the mangled metal strewn across the Martian desert. But all of this is merely the cold tip of a vast iceberg. It is only a physical shadow, cast by a process far more grand, and I dare say, terrifying. The true reason for the failure of Project Demeter lies not in a technical error or a simple miscalculation. It is a symptom, a sinister reflection of something that is quietly happening to us all, to all of humanity. The collapse we brought about with our own hands on the red sands of that distant world is merely a mirror reflecting the slow decay of our own consciousness. Because when you truly think about it, we have been running our own global Project Demeter for a very long time, right here on Earth. Blindly, stubbornly, we build our own artificial paradise, a sterile world founded on technology, mindless consumption, and total control. In this world, we readily trade the warmth of genuine connection for its cold, digital surrogates, the depth of authentic emotions for empty pictograms, and priceless reality itself for its polished virtual imitation. We proudly wear a crown of the thinnest glass, a symbol of our fragile civilization and our unwavering faith in the omnipotence of the human mind. And in our blindness, we fail to see the cracks already spreading across its surface, how it is poised to shatter into millions of fragments and turn to dust. Our gleaming megacities have long since transformed into giant circuit boards, where only soulless streams of data race along glowing pathways, having displaced life's very energy. And beneath the skin of our civilization, metallic veins now pulse. The cold, pervasive algorithms of social networks, indifferent banking systems, and powerful media corporations that govern our every step, our every breath. And so, with our own hands, we have turned ourselves into a solitary colony, lost on the dead planet of our own boundless ego. The recent failure of the Great Mission to Mars did not create this problem. No, it merely tore away the veil, mercilessly exposing the truth. It became a vast, cold, cosmic mirror in which humanity suddenly saw its true reflection. That reflection held only an icy, ringing void, the very emptiness we had so long and so carefully nurtured within ourselves. Our desperate attempt to forge an artificial soul on a distant, lifeless world had failed for one simple reason. We are rapidly losing the last remnants of our own souls, right here on Earth. The Crimson Echo. It is nothing less than the reverberation of our own scorched soul, an echo of the inner void we cultivated for so long, amplified millions of times, now crashing down upon us from the frozen abyss of space. This is no hostile force from without. It is our own self-banished darkness, returning to claim its due. In this roar, we hear an inevitable verdict. The finale, an irreversible apocalypse. Yet it is precisely here, at this final point, on the very edge of a gaping abyss when the fall seems inevitable, that an entirely different perspective reveals itself. What if this deafening collapse is not an end at all, but merely a painful, shattering beginning? What if this cosmic catastrophe is not a curse brought down upon us, but a severe yet necessary ordeal? For all the world's great spiritual teachings whisper the same truth. For something truly new to be born, the old must first be burned to ashes. Before a temple can be raised, the ground must be cleared down to its very foundation. What we call a global crisis, what we feel as profound spiritual burnout, this very crimson echo, none of it is a punishment from the heavens. It is a sacred, purifying disintegration. It is a powerful cosmic mechanism that mercilessly tears away our familiar masks, shatters our fragile glass crowns, and crushes the illusions we have so long cherished. And in this cleansing flame, the universe itself bestows upon us a chance. A rare chance to witness firsthand where the path of blind technocracy, of limitless egoism, and of a complete severance from the living world, from spirit itself, truly leads. We are shown its final destination, a cold, dead, soulless Mars in all its icy, lifeless emptiness. It is shown to us so that we might still have time to turn from this ruinous path. The piercing pain we feel, the chilling apathy and primal fear, these are not signs of the end. They are the true symptoms of an awakening. This is our soul crying out desperately, suffocating in the steel grip of the material world. Listen, this is not the agony of death. These are the torturous yet blessed pangs of a new birth. We stand on the threshold of a new humanity, at the dawn of an entirely new era, of a new consciousness. And yes, this process is, without a doubt, a painful one. Consider the profound mystery of metamorphosis, the moment a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. Inside its chrysalis, the old body must completely dissolve, becoming a primordial, nutrient-rich soup from which a new, incomparably more beautiful life is born. And right now, we find ourselves in that very stage, at the epicenter of this churning soup of change. All around us is chaos, the dissolution of familiar structures, and an all-consuming uncertainty. But understand, this is not the agony of an end. It is a necessary, unavoidable phase on the path toward a great and coming transformation. And it is here, in this fiery cauldron, where the old world melts to yield to the new, that the most decisive element takes center stage. That element is you. Every one of you hearing these words. Therefore, know that what you are hearing is not simply information. This is a calling, a call to your own transformation. For in this new, dawning reality, the fate of all is no longer decided by faceless governments, all-powerful corporations, or even the scientists who once made their irreparable, fatal mistake. No. Now, the outcome depends solely on the personal, innermost choice of every one of us. And before each of us, two roads open up, leading to two entirely different futures. The first path is that of the sleepers. These are the ones who will stubbornly ignore the signs, who will, to the very end, dismiss the great changes as a mere game of politics and economics. They will willingly remain prisoners of the system, allowing its cold, metallic veins to pour icy apathy and clinging fear into their very souls. They will watch as their own inner light trembles, weakens, and is finally extinguished forever. In exchange for an illusion of tranquility, they will choose a comforting lie. And so, step by step, they themselves will become part of the silent emptiness, whose icy echo already resounds through our system as the dead, lifeless Mars. But there is another road, a second path. It is the way of the awakened, a path intended for you. It is the trail for those who find the courage to throw open their eyes and see the truth, no matter how blinding, no matter how inconvenient it may be. I am speaking to those who feel this inner dissonance and who seek its true cause not in the chaos of the outside world, but in the silence of their own soul. Every time you choose the warmth of a living conversation over the cold swipe of a finger across a screen, every time you venture into nature to hear its true voice and feel its breath, every time you immerse yourselves in meditation or simply find the courage to look into the most hidden corners of your heart, you perform a great act of spiritual resistance. This is how you become the living antidote to the crimson echo. Your awakened consciousness, your sincere compassion, your love. All of this is the light that can fill the artificially created gaping void to its very brim. Your consciousness is a lone but unbroken lighthouse amidst the encroaching darkness. The more such lighthouses ignite across the world, the faster this oppressive gloom will retreat and scatter. Remember, you are not helpless victims of circumstance. You are the rightful creators of a new, luminous reality. That is why I ask you not merely to listen. I implore you to act. Right here and right now. Your choice is being made in this very moment. Every touch of the screen, every click of the mouse is not just an action. It is your voice. sounding in unison with thousands of others. Offer a sign of your accord, and let this collective signal grow brighter and stronger. Share this spark of knowledge with others, making it not just a mechanical action, but a true act of service. Passing a burning torch to someone who, like you, is searching for their path in the darkness. So that together, step by step, we can assemble the great mosaic of truth, supporting and guiding one another. Know that this is more than a simple gesture. It is the conscious formation of a community of kindred spirits. It is the building of an ark for the awakened consciousness, a shelter from the raging ocean of universal chaos. And if you feel a call from within, a readiness to go beyond mere participation, become a pillar of our shared cause. This will be your silent yet firm declaration to the universe. I choose the path of light and awakening. I am ready to invest a part of my energy into the creation of a new, better world. In return, you will receive a key to the most sacred materials, to those deeper layers of mystery that we reveal only to our closest confidants. You will enter our inner circle, the circle of the keepers of ancient knowledge. Every soul that joins our cause is the very fuel that ignites our flame of truth. It is the pure energy that gives us the strength and resolve to continue tearing away the veils of illusion and carrying this light forward. The choice you make right now is of critical importance. Make it. Until our next meeting, remain